Hey everyone, welcome to the very first episode of With Stories podcast. I'm thrilled to be here today because I have a very special guest joining me, my dear friend Maria Jose Jaramillo. And Maria is not only an incredible contemporary jewelry artist, but also a graphic designer. And what makes this interview really exciting for me is our story together. So, Maria Jose and I first met at the university. She actually was my teacher assistant in one of the classes I took, focusing on branding and patterns. But this last class, the patterns one, was the one I ended up dropping. So it's really funny because we didn't have much chance back then to introduce each other or to have actually real conversations. So right now we're reconnecting in Barcelona and we're just getting to know each other in real time. And I just can't wait to dive into the conversation and learn more about Maria Jose's journey. So let's jump in. So, hi Majo, how are you?
Hi, Kelly. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, I can try. I'm Maria Jose. I'm Colombian. I'm 25 years old. And as you said, I'm a contemporary jewelry artist. I studied in Florence, in Italy. And I studied design back in Colombia. And now I'm here in Barcelona doing an internship for a contemporary jewelry platform. So, yeah, that's me.
Okay, I have something to say, and I just realized that you're right now wearing your own jewelry. So, can you show to the people it?
Whoever wants to know more about them, they can ask. And we have a little Instagram with a little start with them. So yes, thank you for noticing.
No. I love it. I love it. Can you
Thank you.
tell us how did you start this path of jewelry in general? How did you make it come to life?
Well, I remember when I was in high school or even younger, I used to try to do small earrings with whatever I found like around me. So I took clips and I did earrings with them. And I remember this teacher that every time I went to school, he was telling me like, "What earrings are you wearing today?" And it became something like part of me. Like I was thinking of what earrings to wear, especially like because it became like something that talked about me, in which I like felt like comfortable and I liked like being part of it. So that's a little bit how it started. And um, and then I had a class in university that was called ornament, like corporal ornament, and I loved it. And I started like to have a more artistic approach to it, and it mixed perfectly, like the love for art that I have with the jewelry and trying to create something new with it, and that's how it started.
Oh, wow. And I have a question. I think it's more personal one, but how do you think your own jewelry speaks about yourself? Like, what is the thing that the kind of conversation that it has with the audience, with the people who wear it?
So for now, I have like two different type of things that I work on. So a more like conceptual artistic jewelry, and the more, let's say, commercial part. So in the more commercial part, that is for example what I'm wearing now, um, it was also a challenge for me because it's a way of showing like a lack of control. Let's say like not trying to do classical jewelry where everything is perfect, everything is polished, everything looks like defined, and try to create something where I lose myself in the making, and that at the same time it creates things that are completely different. Like there is no one piece that repeats another, and that also talks about like how people are. Like there's nothing completely the same as something else. So that's kind of important for me that you don't feel like you have something equal to someone else, but it's yours, and that with it you can create your own like stories or your own like way of interpreting what you wear or what you have.
Wow, I love that. And how will be like the ones that you are wearing right now? How will you present them?
That's a really good question. So the thing is, for me, it's most of the technique, and it's like I do everything what I do in wax because I didn't have the chance to have my own space to work. So when I do them, I do like the free shape, and I start like trying to melt the wax and work with the wax. And it was a technique that I'm not used to do, but it was like what I had in the moment. So I also want to communicate a little bit that, and it's like taking what you have in the moment to create something organic, to create something that, yeah, that it's
Oh,
just what it had to be at that moment.
wow, I love that. And um so I know this a bit about this answer that you're gonna say, but I would like to go farther. And is when did you start calling yourself an artist or feeling yourself as an artist?
Okay, it's a difficult question because when people ask me about this, I think I'm not an artist yet. I think I'm in the way to be an artist. I think about it because I have many like different media that I work on, and I have like passed through different things. Um, but I think it's like an endless path at the end.
Mm.
And I don't know when I'm going to be ready to call myself an artist. But I don't feel I'm prepared to say like I'm an artist. I feel it's like an ego kind of thing when you say it, no? Like I'm an artist, and I don't know.
Ah, that's funny because people around you, not only myself, consider you an artist. Like the people who see what you're doing, and probably the people that are listening right now, how you speak, might consider yourself an artist. I mean, you're doing things to express, to communicate, and you take the things that you have, like you have even have like an artistic process for jewelry that goes beyond just producing a product as a designer. So that's
Yeah,
funny.
I think as a meaning, if you take like artist meaning, I can like match with it. But I think I'm an artist in process. Let's say that's how I
Okay.
think it is.
So, what would you call yourself?
The thing is, I'm trying to even like break this idea within myself also, because I don't think it has to be like so limited and so like strict. But I think I'm in a blurry line between art and design, um all the time. And I think people have like divided it so strong that I don't
Yeah.
feel I match one or the other. So I'm not completely an artist, like that free idea of art and creating from the soul, because I have the design part with me all the time. So I think I'm like the blurry line between one and the other, like passing from one
Uh,
side to the other all the time.
yeah, I understand. And I know about at least where we come from, the line is very strict. Like you are not both, you're just one.
Exactly.
But don't you feel that the way or how has been the places that you've been living on like had an impact on what you do? Like has been this experience for you?
I think it's been super interesting, but at the same time, I've like thought more about this idea between art and design. When I started contemporary jewelry in Italy, uh, actually, when I was working and starting studying, I had this super close teacher that was telling me all the time, like, you have to stop thinking like a designer. Like you have to not try to solve things, because I had this mentality for 4 years that they teach me to solve. Like to take something and how are you going to solve it? What's the best way to solve it? So like stop trying to solve things. Just try to see what works better for you or what communicates better without trying to solve. And so that was like a hard like shock for me, because I had create this mentality from 4 years of studying design, and then they were like, that's not how you do it here now, because now you're an artist, and now that's not working anymore. So that was a bit harsh for me, but also like it was a nice challenge, like to try to see it from the other side and then find myself in an in between that I think it's good to be also
And
in the in between.
okay, okay, yeah, yeah. But I want to know, like, I'm curious how or which things help you break like these ideas that you had. Like, how did you start experimenting and say like, okay, this is the way I know how it works, but right now it isn't working because they are telling me something different. So how did you break free from those thoughts that you already had built for a long time?
I think when I entered study jewelry helped a lot to work with my hands again. I had stopped doing that a lot, so start connecting again like with the process of making, with the materials I have, and doing the opposite from what I did before. So I started from a concept, and from the concept, I thought what was the best thing to do, but just like being in front of my bench and starting working with whatever I had to then see what I could communicate with that or what it matched to what I was feeling and what I was doing, what had to say of me. Uh, I think it made me wow. I think it made me like a little bit more free way of creating. That was great. Uh,
Did you see that?
but but yes, I think it was that. Like it made me see things from a different perspective and not judging myself from it, but just like trying to get new things and understanding that from every process I can take different things. And at the end, that's why I think I'm an artist in progress. It's like everything that I'm studying, everything that I'm doing, I'm taking new things that I'm like going to show when I'm starting to do new things.
Oh, love that. And now that you mentioned like I'm an artist in progress, I want to know, how is the life of an artist in progress? How will you describe a
it
daily life of an artist in progress?
it's a mess. uh I feel it's like trying to think of all the projects every time, like these big projects or even small projects that you imagine and seeing something and having inspiration and writing and all this stuff. But at the same time, knowing that it's not easy to start as an artist anyway, you're like, you need to live from something, you need to do things that people connect to, even if they don't always connect to you. So I think it's been hard, like to find that way of what am I going to do that speaks to me, but also speaks to the rest of the people, or to some people. Um, but the life as a artist in progress is, I think it's that it's just trying to experiment and trying to see what matches more with my personality and uh, taking inspiration of everything that I'm learning in every part of what I'm doing and finding what's like getting more to me.
I know I can identify with that as well. Even though, like, currently I say I'm an artist, I feel more like an artist in progress.
I mean, I think it's an endless progress at the end, and I think we will always be in that path and in that way. And I think each time more you will find like more what you need to say and your way of expressing it. But I think it's a
Yeah,
nice path to find it.
an endless path.
See,
Yeah, exactly.
definitely.
I was even going to start speaking Spanish.
You're like, see, yes.
Yes, yes. And I like to know, I'm curious to know, like, how, if you were going to describe just your artist, your inner artist as a person, like different from you, how old would be this inner artist that you have? Yeah, how does it feel? I don't know if I'm
I
being.
I feel it's like it's a weird combination. I think I have like this. It would. feel like a little kid that is trying to explore the world, and it's trying to take everything that sees to create stories with it somehow. So this little kid that's going around and sees something, and it's like, this rock is not a rock, but it is, I don't know, and starts creating these stories around. I think that's what I try to do as an artist in most of the things, like take the things that I see and create stories from them. And I think that's part of like the playfulness of a kid,
Mm-hmm.
but with the mentality of an adult that is thinking that everything needs to make sense, and that things cannot just be whatever you want, because that's what they teach you. So I think it's this looking
Yes.
forward to be this kid in exploration, but with a back mentality of things have to make sense and need to be this way. So it's like that contradiction, I think.
Yeah, it's like a lot of contrasts happening at
Yeah,
the same.
exactly.
Wow. And I want you to tell us more a bit. What does inspire you? Like, how do you find inspiration around yourself? And what are the most challenging things for you about being a creative, a creator, someone who's constantly, as you said, like enjoying things and experimenting?
Uh, the what was the first question? I forgot.
Well, how do you find inspiration, or how
Okay,
do
right.
you, yeah, how do you
Uh,
know which thing uh to do next? Because I know that you do a lot of things that you even haven't mentioned till right now.
so for me, it's like I really try to be like looking around all the time on what I see and what I have, and things that I don't normally notice. That's like an exercise that I try to do every day. So I usually, I'm not doing it right now, but I had like this diary where I tried to see things and literally try to create stories for little things, because I love creating stories, and I'm like a super like narrative person, that I love like telling stories, writing stories. Uh, so I tried to do that, and that helped a lot, because I tried to see things from different way and be more conscious of what surrounds me that I don't normally see. So that's like my way of inspiration, I would say.
Wait,
And
but
also,
before
go.
you go on, how is this process of creating stories, or what do you mean? Like,
Um, I don't know. I had like, my dad was always telling me stories about everything, and I got used to it. Like I needed it in my life. So I'm the type of person that, I don't know, you see something in the floor, and you're like, I don't know, maybe this person was walking and was fighting with her son, and he threw it and he didn't want to pick it up, and try to create something that happened from something little that you see, or you see a spot somewhere, and it's like maybe someone fall, and I don't know, this is something super tragic,
love that.
but I
Well,
do to think of these things that happened. So like how marks or things are telling something that happened in that place, or that happened in that object. So it's not an object anymore, it's not a mark or a spot, but it's something that it's telling you something that happened around it.
wow.
But
That I didn't know that about you. I want to see that diary. I love
well,
that.
knowing me, you have a lot more to know.
Yes. I see. So you were going
Yes.
to explain something else, and before I interrupted.
No, then you asked me about the challenge thing.
Mhm.
Um, and I think sometimes it's like just fighting with that voice that is telling you all the time, like, that's not going to be good enough, or comparing yourself to like bigger artists or people that do something that you want to do but you haven't achieved to do it. and not like saying, okay, I'm not going to be that, or like trying to fight with that idea of I'm not going to be able to do that, or it's not going to be enough, or comparing yourself. I think it's like the hardest challenge when you are around artists and you see what they are doing all the time and you get inspired by it. And I'm trying not to take the negative part of, if they are there, I can also work on that and I can take what I see good from people. But sometimes it's like,
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, you feel yourself with these emotions that
yeah,
we often call negative and that blocks you many times.
yeah. And also that I feel I'm not like the best technician. I've never been. I'm not super straight. I'm not perfect. I don't like to do that. And I'm not good at it. So, but I enjoy doing the opposite. I enjoy doing not perfect stuff. I enjoy not doing that. But in my mind, they need to be perfect. But I know I don't like to do them, and I know it's not my way of doing it. So fight with that. Like it has to be perfect because people tell you it has to be. But you want to do something different. You're good at something different than that. So it's like,
Yeah, that constant fight. But for example, what do you have like any kind of strategy to fight this technique when it's like in your mind, like when you have these thoughts constantly or something?
I think it's like challenging myself every day. Like, okay, I think it's not perfect enough or it needs to be. Well, I just continue. I continue and I continue and I continue and I force myself to do it anyway. If
Mm.
anyway, like even if I think it's not or it needs to be this way, it's like, okay, in this moment I feel it needs to be this way. I will try to do the opposite, or I will follow it, or just like trying all the time and not non stopping.
Okay, I like that because not for everyone it's that, you know, like easy to think. I don't know if it's easy for you
No,
neither, but because it's never easy.
no,
But
no.
not everyone has like this way of doing things. For example, sometimes I get blocked and it's for long term, and it's really frustrating because my mind doesn't change to okay, move on, because life doesn't
Yeah,
end right there. So that's really something to admire.
hard. For example, I was about speaking Spanish. What I try to do sometimes, it's I'm not a best like artist in drawing or illustration, but I love it. But I judge myself a lot while doing it. So what I force myself is like I'm going to draw with pen, not with pencil. I cannot erase anything. If it's bad, it's
Cool.
bad. But I will do it. And however it is, and I will try not to judge it. So it's like having like forcing myself to do things as they come without judging them. It's been like one of the things that I'm trying to do right now.
Wow, that's beautiful. Because sometimes we think that the, like the solution is actually the opposite. We need to do exactly the opposite, but that gets you stuck on the same place that you started. So you never get to finish anything. I have plenty of stuff in my studio that I haven't finished, just because I felt like it's not worth it. But as the more that I grow, I realize like no, actually it's gonna be more representative and worth it and valuable if I finish it and I keep going. So wow.
Agree. And I'm sure someone will love it and will appreciate it. And I don't know. I started to see that people also admire when they see something and then they see the person that is behind the piece. Like even if it's a small mistake for you as an artist, the other ones is seeing a personality, a soul, someone that is working, and it's not something that is there far, but it gets closer to you somehow. So
Mhm.
I like that.
There's like a conversation that I've been having with many friends right now that are creatives, and it's about like if you create for yourself or for someone else, because feel like art can be both. And now that you mentioned that, I wanted to ask you like,
Oh,
how do you feel that is it for you?
I think the cool thing to say, and I think what I am going to say it can be super controversial. I don't know, but I think that's the difference between art and design. Sometimes it's like when you're a designer, you design for someone else. Most of the times, like for someone to use, someone to whatever. Art tend to be more for yourself, and whoever like resonates with that, welcome. Uh, and I would love to say that I create for myself, but I think at some point I am trying to see what people like to be able to share it and for people to like it, which I don't personally like. I would love to create for myself and people be like, wow, I love what you do just for you and resonate with that. But I think at the end I have the voice of people here all the time, like what would people like, what would, and I think it's difficult to take that out.
Yes, I think that currently we're living in a world where it's really hard since we're all like absolutely connected through social media, everything, like you're over connected to everything around you. Probably it's really hard to
Yeah,
uh make a difference between what if you are creating for yourself or for someone else. Like even if you have like certain intentions, sometimes it just become both at
yeah,
the same time.
yeah. It's something that you enjoy for yourself, but at the same time you're thinking on the others, and I think it's a difficult thing to separate.
Right. And I want to know, like, not that you're mentioning like that you are, well, in your mind you are just starting your path as an artist. I don't see it that way personally, but what are you moving forward to? What are you looking for right now?
Um, I'm in a difficult position right now. So let's say, as an artist in progress, I'm trying to move forward to have a more concrete, like message to give. Like I know I want to tell stories with what I do. I know I want to be this like, yes, storyteller in any media, but I would like to have like a more concrete way of showing it. Uh, I don't know if every artist feels that way, but I have like this thing that I want people to see it and be like, that's Maria Jose, you know, that's her. And I think I'm working towards that because I also work with a lot of media and I don't want to stop doing that. So getting like a bigger way of showing my things that people can still like see that that has something that it's yours. And nowadays that everything is everywhere and so many things are created, that's something that I'm trying to look forward to find.
So it will be like having a very defined style or
I don't
personal brand. How
I,
would you call
I
that?
don't I don't know if it's a personal style, but like a personal mm, way of showing things, you know, like I don't know how exactly to express it, but not
Yes.
like, ah, I'm working with clay this way, but like a way of speaking of some topics that it's a lot like a
Yes.
person, you know.
I talk
So
about that as a voice. I don't speak about styles, but more like a voice.
yeah,
Uh,
that's
because people constantly ask you about this, like, how do you build a style in illustration? So I think that there's much more than that. And I love that you share it that way because I feel also that it's a voice and not a style in
I love how
itself.
it's a voice because it's true. It's that it's a voice. It's not maybe you change the tones that you use or the shapes or you change showing them, but your voice is still like there, saying what you need to say. So yeah, that's a
Yes,
really
I think the same. I love that. Yeah, because I feel like sometimes I want to change the medium. So I don't want to do like digital illustration. Sometimes what you mentioned, like you don't want to do just clay. You don't want to take only one material, but have like create like an universe, like Maria Jose's universe.
yeah.
And I love to see that. I really want to know how this universe turns.
I want to know that too.
No, but people should see what you're creating, because I think that you are having that, like, you are on the right path, you're doing it, and you can share it with the world. So I really love that. And
Thank you.
in a way, people can identify your essence right there. So yeah, I
I think
like it.
that's the goal.
I also have a question, because you haven't mentioned about this, but you also make tattoos. You are starting as a tattoo artist. So I like to know, is there a difference between Maria Jose as a jewelry artist, as a graphic designer, and as a tattooer, or is it all the same? How would you
Oof.
explain how you feel
Eh,
yourself on every single one, every single field, but also how do you see yourself on each one?
I think it's nice to, and I think people sometimes judge that a lot. Like, you need to be something, and that's what you need to be.
Mhm.
Like, you're out of that, then because you're not sure of who you are or something like that. And I see it as I have find different media to express different parts of me, and that's so cool. And I'm the same person, but I'm not always this, and that's it. I'm like constant change, and I have different parts of me, and I think we all do. So to find different media which I can be, I don't know, like I can be the most organized and like rational part of me in graphic design that I needed, and that it's on me sometimes. But when I do jewelry, I'm trying like to lose myself on the materials and the melted wax and like more sculpture, and that's also something that's on me and that I needed. And in the other part, it's like sometimes someone asked me like, why do you want to do tattoos? I think it's super egocentric to want to leave a mark on someone. And I'm like, I've never seen it that way, but for me it's just like a way of leaving a mark, but because the other person wants to leave it at the same time. And I think that's beautiful to someone say like, hey, I want to have this on me, and the people that I have tattooed are super close to me. So that's just like a beautiful moment to have with someone else, and then gives like the more like connecting to other people, because in design and in jewelry you're a lot in yourself and alone,
Mhm.
working on your bench, doing and whatever you're doing. And sometimes when I tattoo, it's like doing something artistic, something that I like, but with someone else there, and having a nice conversation also. So that's, yes, I think they're
Yeah,
just
you're
different
right.
parts.
It's like creating.
Hmm?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I feel like it's co-creating. How do you feel towards co-creating? Because I know that we all experiment it very differently. Like, some feel more comfortable like building or creating individually, and some others like in with a team or something. So how do you feel towards it?
I love co-creating. I love working with people and hearing other voices and seeing other parts of like points of view of people. I think that's so like nurturing. Like, you need other people. Like, I don't know, this world is so huge that if you stay only with your point of view, I think it would be like this, uh, and you will realize many other things with other points of view. Sadly, in jewelry, it's not that easy. So
Mm-hmm.
it's more something new, and that's it. That in design, it's easier to co-create, but I love it. And I wish I had like more those spaces to co-create and to hear other artists and other designers and see what you can get from people. I think that's one of the most beautiful things of the field.
Yes, I feel the same, and also like you can hear so many different perspectives. Is there like a crazy or I don't know, experience that you've had, or a story that you can share with us? Like, how was it to create a tattoo? How was it to make it happen?
Uh, okay, so I started doing it with super close people to me, because it's weird. Again, it goes to the same way of like, I was this person that was always drawing with pencil to be able to erase it or to have control of it, and then
Mhm.
you're the person, not in your room, not you, but you have someone in front of you that is saying absolutely everything, and
In their body, I mean.
so it's crazy. And I think it was a challenge for me because of that. Like trying to feel comfortable with it, and I was super lucky to find people that make me feel super comfortable on what I was doing and on trusting on what I did. Um, the first tattoo that I did, I didn't know how to take like good the machine, and I was trying to put the Vaseline on the skin, and I took the machine out, and I left a point in her feet, like one point that it looks like. uh, I mean, it was like a super close friend of mine, but now she has a dot, a random dot. But things that happen, you know. Now I know how to do it better.
No, that's really funny because we don't get to hear much these kind of stories, like that someone who does this like on their daily life, or even if not, they wouldn't tell you this because I mean, who will trust you after this? But that's things that actually happen to everyone. So
Yeah,
everybody keep it as a
trust
secret.
me.
Huh?
People that you are hearing, please keep trusting me. It just happened once, okay?
No, no, I know, but
Yes,
many people like you're gonna make me a tattoo, and we haven't even mentioned this, but I'm gonna put my skin under your pen.
happy.
So yes, and I trust you. I know that's gonna go really well, but I think these are the kind of stuff that people use to keep as a secret. I even myself, I haven't shared like at least not on social media, like the kind of things that where I've messed up. But no, I just don't realize I haven't shared it. Like sometimes it happens this way, and sometimes you just don't want to. So I love that you can share like, okay, this happens to everyone. Like even if you're an expert, is
It
like
happened.
yeah, life.
We'll pass through it. Like we were talking before the interview, and we were saying like so many times that we write to someone and they ignore us or they don't answer, or so many no's that we get. Uh, and sometimes it's just easy to see people and like they're so successful and they got there, and at the end we all are passing through that process of getting a lot of no's, of ignoring each other or whatever, and we
Yeah.
don't that, and it's something that's happening all the time to all of us.
Yeah, I didn't realize, but yeah, before like this conversation, we were talking about that. Like, I've sent tons of emails, DMs, lots of stuff during my career, and most of them got ignored. Like, I will say 80% get ignored. Not even an answer like, no, I'm not interested. It's like, no, nothing at
Yeah,
all. And you start like feeling comfortable with it. Like at some point it's like that's life, and you realize like that's gonna even happen more. Like I sure that even if I grow and become like a more known artist, I'm gonna still get
you
no's. Like
yeah, true,
yeah,
true,
exactly.
true. The no already there, so we have nothing
Yeah,
to lose.
no, and I like the reason why we started this initiative about sharing stories is that because as creatives sometimes we are working by ourselves, like very lonely. And we don't get to hear these kind of stories. You don't get to hear what's behind the artist, behind the piece of art, what's behind every creative. And
Yeah,
what we actually need to know is that in order to be able to grow, to learn from others, it will be much easier if we all could collaborate together and I know that many are up to collaborate. It's just that we are like in a lonely room working from there.
Yes,
and and we don't even realize that we're not sharing sometimes with people. How do
true.
you now talking about this, I want to know how do you work? Where do you work from?
Uh, well, since I'm in Barcelona, I'm not working a lot in jewelry because I don't have a space for that. So basically, I did some jewels and I brought them, but I didn't have the space even in Colombia. So I had my room and I tried to adapt it to some tools that I could get to buy. And I was like, okay, these are the tools that I can buy in this moment, and what can I do with them? And I had this desk inside my room, and I worked in my room with whatever I had to see what I could get with that. Uh, Before, well, I was in school, so I had like my workshop, and I could go and work there. But after that, I had like my little workshop in my house, a little bit improvised, but with a lot of love, I guess.
No, yeah, yeah. I like that you mentioned that because many times I don't know if it's just me, but I see on Instagram like every artist sharing their own studio, and it feels like super. I don't know, like crap full of things, and you're always thinking like, I don't have that. Like, do I need that to start? And that's not real. Like most of us, even them, started that way, as you mentioned. And something that happens a lot in the creative fields is that we are constantly moving, so sometimes it's not just like on what we do but also where we are. And you right now have mentioned like I was in Colombia, then in Italy, and right now here. So it's constant movement and starting from whatever you have.
Exactly, exactly. I think sometimes like we need this exactly, and at the end it's like, okay, I need to keep doing, so I will find a way with what I have to feel comfortable where I am to create.
And how we're just about to finish, but I would like to know how is living in Barcelona, or what do you expect to find more in Barcelona or do more because you've recently arrived. Like you haven't had like much time to find everything. So I'd like to know like
Yeah.
what do you want to do? Also because we can do it together.
Write it, have a list. And so yeah, I just arrived, but I think it's a really nice space, like to find a lot of people that are open to talk to other people. And I think you've talked to me about some of them, like they're people talking about things, doing conferences, different, I don't know, shows, or different many like things that are happening in galleries, in museums, in and I think there's a big culture around art here. So using that to be able to find other people that are interested in that, I think something that I really want to do to get more in the field here with people that are around that maybe I don't have in Colombia, and that it would be nice to find here, to be around those people and those spaces.
I love that you say that because the next question is like, how could we with stories add value to you?
To me,
To you? How can we help you with something? Like, what's something that we could do to,
I think
yeah.
it's nice. I don't know, but if you are hearing stories of people that are in different parts and that they know what's happening in different moments in different countries, I think it's nice to know that. Like when you now I have you here in Barcelona, but if you didn't have you, then it's more difficult to find places that were happening, or what kind of fairs can I go to, or what kind of events happen here and there. And when you listen to other people's experience in one place, then you can find some things that are happening on the field in many other places. So I think that's an interesting point to see. Hearing stories of people in other places, know how they deal with it, knowing that other ways of doing it exist, and that maybe you can be interested in going somewhere or visiting someone or talking to someone else that you haven't thought about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's perfect because that's exactly what we do.
But I'm kidding.
And the way that we do it. So good to know. We'll do that.
Yes.
And we have some quick fire questions to end
Okay.
up. So, what's your favorite animal?
My favorite animal are ants and elephants and cows.
Ants.
Yes, I do jewelry ants. They're super nice and cute. Yes.
Oh, I love that. Your favorite color?
Color?
Hmm.
Yellow.
Yellow. Your favorite season?
I haven't lived a lot of seasons. I have no idea. No
Okay, okay, right.
idea
I know. I just recently experimented like 2 years, 1 year or 2 years ago, so I know how it feels.
about seasons. Yes.
um, your that's gonna be funny, but your favorite piece of clothing?
I don't know if earrings count as one. If they don't, then shoes.
Okay. And now, finally, who's someone that you'd like us to invite to our podcast?
Oh, well, it's a really difficult one, Kelly. Eh, Blank. I'll think about it because I don't know. In this moment, I'm trying to think.
Even if you don't know this person, or even if it's just a friend or whatever, because it's like about which story do you think that will be very valuable, someone's story that you admire or that you like to hear about.
Wow, why am I so in blank? I'm sorry. I'll think about it. I'm sorry. In this moment, I really don't know. I've been
Oh.
100 names in my mind coming and going, and I'm like, and person that it comes to my mind because now I have jewelry in my head is like I think of the director of my school back in Italy that she's called Lucia, and for me she's like wow because she started a whole school of contemporary jewelry when maybe it was even starting and it was crazy, and she decided to write to these incredible jewelry artists that she didn't even know, like, hey, I'm starting a school, I want you to be the teacher. And I think a lot about how bold she was to create it, and I really admire her for that. So I would say her.
Amazing. I love that. I love that. No, that's perfect. Sorry for pushing with this.
In 5 seconds. No, it's okay.
No, thank you so much for taking part of the first episode of We Stories. We really enjoyed to have you here. I was just really happy to learn more about you because, yeah, like for real, people should know that we're just getting to know each other. So it's really funny to, yeah, like listen to these stories in real time and have like real reactions. Like, what? I didn't know about that. So it's been really fun.
Thank you.
And yeah, thank you so much for your time, for being here, and hope to have you on maybe another episode later on. So yes,
Please.
thank you.
I want to say something to everyone that Kelly is in the room next door. So basically, we're just like one. But yes.
Yeah, we'll see you later. Like in 2 minutes.
But yeah, I hope to see you anyway and be here again whenever you want. And I will be listening to all your podcasts as an interview because I think it's really amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
How do I hang? No sé cómo se cuelga. ¿En stop o en leave? No.